r/ask Reddit. What is one fact you learned that you wish you could unlearn? You can die of a brain aneurysm at any time, no matter how young or healthy you are. Archer, what are your 3 biggest fears? That's only number 3. You already have to be closing on a house before you even apply to be on most HGTV shows. It's all fake. If that wasn't the case, those shows would be high pressure. Here are 3 houses. Even if you don't like any of them, you'll still have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on one. Of all vaginas, a sheep's vagina has the closest resemblance to the human vagina. A lot of stereotypes suddenly make sense in a very uncomfortable way. Death throes can last at least 20 minutes. Warning, may be upsetting. Took care of a college kid who hanged himself. I'm an EMT, but unfortunately he was too far gone. 30 minutes of CPR and all the brutality that goes with it. Doctor called it. No pulse, no blood pressure, no electrical heart activity. Took him 20 minutes to stop intermittently opening his mouth like he was gasping for air. The family had to be kept waiting in the family room while I checked on him every few minutes to see if he'd stopped. I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but the seasoned doc and nurse recommended it. It was already going to be a traumatic event for the family. No need to give them even worse nightmares envisioning their dead son gasping. Fact of life, but sucks to know. That often, car accidents and other trauma from machinery accidents can leave people both pinched in half and alive. Their organs and blood flow are held in a kind of suspended animation. They can talk and can understand what's happening around them. They are told that when the pressure from the car or machinery is released, they will die. This happened right around the corner from my house a couple years ago. A woman was placing donuts into the trunk of her car to feed the homeless, and a drunk driver drove directly into her car with the woman sandwiched between the 2 cars. Her husband was able to say goodbye to her as the firefighters released the cars from her body. Fatal familial insomnia. One day you start having trouble sleeping. It keeps getting worse and worse until eventually you lose the ability to sleep permanently. About a week after that you basically go insane and die. I saw an episode of the show Monsters Inside Me, and on it there was a guy that had a fly hit his eye while he was doing something outside. It was only a fraction of a second, but it was enough time for the fly to lay eggs in his eye. He almost went blind because they were eating his eye from the inside. Now because of that I am super paranoid whenever a fly goes anywhere near my face. Freaking prion diseases. Random mutation. Can occur at any time. Causes proteins in your brain to fold abnormally, which induces healthy proteins to fold into the abnormal shape. Eventually you go insane and die. And there is no treatment possible, and medical instruments that come into contact with prions cannot be sterilized. Autoclaving or any other methods do not work. They must be destroyed. If not, next time they are used in an operation that patient is ducked. Had to study them for my high school biology. One of the most interesting things we looked at. That being said, I have an interest in immunology and disease control anyway, but Kuru disease is pretty ducked up. There's a video with 2 girls having their way with one individual cup and its contents. Always fun to reminisce about the old classics. That coughing noise the raptors make in Jurassic Park is the sound of turtles ducking. Steven Spielberg went to a zoo to get sounds for the roars, and a zookeeper jokingly mentioned that it was mating season for the tortoises. Everything to do with human trafficking and child sex torture videos on the dark web. I could go through life without knowing that. Most of the things you hear about the dark web are myths. Tor is neither an effective place to upload videos nor to stream. Although child porn and sex trafficking sites do exist, it's extremely scarce and difficult to find due to how the majority of those kinds of sites are just made by police looking to catch degenerates. Matt Bellamy, lead singer of Muse, has a habit of breathing in very sharply and audibly when he sings. Listen to the very end of a line or right before one and you'll hear it. I'm cursed and can't not hear it. And I love Muse so it drives me nuts. Edit. I seem to have made a lot of people rather upset. Dolphins are rapists. I loved them and this ruined it all. And they duck decapitated fish heads for pleasure, I believe. The universe could be in a false vacuum state. If this is so, The universe could quantum tunnel to a lower energy true vacuum state at any time. I'm not sure what any of that means, but if it did happen, all life in the universe would be well and truly ducked. Well, I hope that it'd at least be quick considering the forces at play here. If someone were to directly poke your brain, you wouldn't feel anything. All the animal deaths in the movie Cannibal Holocaust were real. Most cops watch a video of a traffic stop gone wrong where the officer is executed in the middle of the highway, begging for his life. I still can't unhear the death rattle. Kyle Dinkler, right? Yep, haunting. And I was surprised to find that's on YouTube. I guess it's because it doesn't show much, but it sure sticks with you. I held my father's hand as he died. When I let go, I could still see the outline of my hand blanched into his skin. It looked as though someone was still there holding his hand. Whatever that effect is called, I wish I never had to know about it. It's the same effect as the one that makes your fingernail change color when you press on it. However, the blood didn't flow back into his hand. I'm sorry for your loss, but take comfort that it was simply a product of you being there. And isn't it better that you were there than not? He felt you there with him in his last moments. You did a good thing. Yesterday I learned it was possible for someone to get a cockroach in their eyes. So gonna say that. Well, technically you can get anything in your eyes. Leaves, pencils, bits of popcorn, very small sofas. Those cute smiling quokkas everyone loves. When pursued by a predator, they will eject their baby from their pouch, abandoning the flailing baby to attract the predator so the mom can get away. Stone cold baby killers. Also, if you eat a fig, you're also probably eating a metabolized wasp inside. Throwing your baby makes sense. If the baby dies, you can just make more. If you die, the baby almost certainly dies and your genetic line is done. Rats can climb up toilets quite easily through the pipes. Someone please tell me it's a myth. I'm always scared of having a rat crawl up my ass. That my grandmother has a tattoo on her upper inner thigh that says slippery when wet. I worked as a prosecutor for several years and encountered a number of cases relating to people who committed suicide by jumping in front of trains. The prosecution would often review these files to make sure there wasn't any criminality or recklessness by the train driver. Often these train drivers were incredibly traumatized by what had happened, and tragically it happens far more often than the news reports. I was speaking to this one train driver who works as a sort of union support worker for his colleagues who have had this happen to them. As we were chatting, he referred to the people who suicide by train as grinners. I asked him what that meant. I wish I hadn't, he said, because every driver you speak to, without exception, recalls that the jumpers have this huge smile on their face right up to the moment you hit them. So, they're grinners. I've never been able to get that image out of head. When you get scurvy, your scars start coming undone. Your body is constantly repairing old wounds, and without vitamin C, it can't make collagen. So the seams start coming apart. If you are hung upside down and sawed in half, crotch to head, you wouldn't die until the saw hit your lungs. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.